In the pursuit of passion, today's guest on Positive Profiles has chosen a journey which has led her to lead the younger generation and impact them in a most positive and generous way. I'm your host, Rashid Holder, and this is Positive Profiles. Paulette Henry, Mrs. Paulette Henry,
Yes, sir.
senior teacher here at the Arthur Smith Primary School.
Yes.
Welcome to Positive Profiles.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Now, my first question is obviously going to be, what led you to pursue teaching?
But that's not a difficult question, so I'm happy to answer that one first. Actually, my experiences with my own teachers in my formative years, both primary and secondary school, I had some wonderful teachers who impacted my life in positive ways and inspired me to want to do this. So much so that, according to my mom, because I can't remember it, every evening I got home from school, I was the teacher. I had this pretend teacher, play teacher school, you know, the ruler and all the works, but the teachers that I had at primary school, and if you don't mind me saying, there was this one teacher, actually my principal at primary school,
Yeah.
Mrs. Prescott. She has passed now, rest her soul, but she loved me in a way that I couldn't understand then. But being a teacher now, I truly understand.
I think that most people who enter the teaching profession always remember that one teacher. And if there's some person in any of the classrooms that you've been in, I'm sure that they're going to remember you in that same spirit.
I honestly hope so. That is my honest hope, yeah.
Tell us what, allows you to continue, or what continues to fuel the passion for you to teach.
I teach children from all walks of life. When they come, there are some of them who are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They're eager, they want to learn. And just being able to make a change, see a difference in those children's lives, that's what fuels my passion. That's what makes me get up in the morning. And even though sometimes I'm tired, make me get dressed and show up.
Now, over the years, you've taught many students. You alluded to the fact that you've been teaching for 25 plus years.
Yes.
What has been, the big difference that you've seen from when you started to, present day?
To be honest, I'm not sure if it's a big difference, but I am seeing more children with learning challenges now. Autism, for example, is one of the catchphrases you're hearing a lot now, and I'm seeing it every day. I'm not qualified to diagnose any child with autism or anything, but the number of learning challenges that I am seeing now with children, it is way different to when I first started teaching. It seems as though back then, all of those years ago, it was easier for children to grasp concepts. I don't know why, don't ask me. Like I said, I'm not qualified to diagnose anyone. However, it seems in today's day, we are fighting against so many other things that are unseen to the naked eye. But that for me would be the greatest difference, the way that children are able to grasp concepts then as opposed to now.
And how have you adjusted in terms of, seeing those differences or deficiencies and being able to still provide a platform that allows you to get that message across to your students as best as possible?
Well, just as the world has evolved, teaching, education is evolving. We cannot any longer just depend on chalk and talk in the classrooms. So there are times when you have to integrate things like the technology, storytelling, even puppetry, different mediums to get the children to understand and to grasp the concepts that you're teaching them. In other words, we have to find different ways to make learning more fun for our students. And me, being the teacher that I am, I'm not afraid to get down in the trenches with my students. So if they're crawling on the ground, I'm not afraid to do that. If it's going to help them, you're leading by example. So if it's going to help them to understand the concept that I'm trying to teach them, I'm willing to go there with them. But thankfully, the Ministry of Education has been engaging teachers in lots of training in the newer methodologies and strategies to help children to grasp the concepts much better. So I praise the Ministry of Education for that.
No, teaching is a labor of love. Mm-hmm. And I am sure that over the course of the many years that you've been teaching, mm-hmm. you have, found some difficult students. How did you cope with, dealing with these students? And, how would you say that impacted your teaching style?
You said that teaching is a labor of love.
Yeah.
The greatest way to deal with challenging children is to try to love them.
As if they're your own.
As though they're my own, and my take on it is to do from the time I had my son, I always said to myself, the same things that I want or I would expect for my son, I have to be willing to give. And there are children, sometimes they just want you to listen to them. Because mm-hmm. When we were growing up, you used to hear a person say, children should be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
I do not
do as I say, but not as I do.
Yeah. So I don't buy into that. Mm-hmm. I believe that children have a voice. And even with my son, I used to encourage him to talk. Speak up. Let persons know how you feel, but always be respectful in what you do. So even now here, there's some children that I have met who have been difficult, but I would sit with them, I would talk with them, I would let them know I love you, and I just want to understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. And as long as a child knows that you love him or her, knows that you're interested in him or her, they will talk to you. And when you investigate, you get to realize, there are other factors that are impacting or influencing what's happening with this child. Sometimes it's out of school factors, mm-hmm. sometimes they're in school factors.
Like they may not even hear I love you at home.
Exactly, and you'll be surprised to know that there are a lot of them who are hearing a lot of negative phrases being meted out to them at home. So I just try to let children know that I love them.
I let children be children.
Yeah, just let them be children, but I always tell them, whatever you do, respect. Respect is due. Like a teacher will bring a child to me because you said I'm senior teacher here, mm-hmm. and a teacher may bring a child who, was given some trouble in the classroom. And the first thing I say to children, now Mrs. Henry don't like lies. So don't tell me any lies. Even if you think that you may be punished, do not start with a lie. And usually children just open them and they will tell me, yes ma'am, I did it, or yes teacher, I did that thing, and mm-hmm. I don't condemn them because I want them to be honest. I want them to tell the truth, even if you may be afraid. Because when I was going to school, the first things I remember learning, speak the truth and speak it ever, cost it what it will. He who does the wrong, he does the wrong thing still. And it's something that I teach my children.
Kudos to your teacher then, because clearly you've remembered this throughout the course of your life.
I told you I had some wonderful experiences at primary school. Mm-hmm. I did. I can't remember a lot of the things I did yesterday because, you're growing younger every day. But my primary school experiences.
Now, I wanna find out something. Would you say that being a parent has taught you to be a better teacher, or being a parent, how has that impacted you as a teacher?
I think that being a parent has enhanced the type of teacher that I am, because like I said, the things that I wanted for my son, and I always wanted the best for my son, I am always willing to do for my students. I'm willing to go the extra mile for them. Mm-hmm. I remember I had an experience with this one student, not at this school, at another primary school. I was teaching class 4 at that time. And this little boy has so much potential, but he came to school every day and he just came to school and was just content to eat his snacks, eat lunch and go home, but he had potential. And in preparing for the common entrance that year with him, I remember I wrote this sum on the board and I called him up to complete the sum on the board. And he stood at the board And all the students are there saying, go ahead, you can do this, you can do this. And we're trying to help him. And he stood up there and please don't quote me. I put a lash on his backside. I honestly did, yeah. Mm-hmm. Not a hard one, but just so he can do the thing. Mm-hmm. And in no time at all, as the old people would tell you before the cat could lick his ears, he had the sum done. I knew he could do it.
He just needed a bit of self-confidence or at least the right push.
To be honest, his mom used to always tell me, put some lashes on him, Miss Henry, put some lashes on him, but I don't like to lash children. Mm-hmm. Fast forward a couple, when after the exam, I remember when the results came back. I sent him to the principal to get his results. And when he came back to the classroom, I said, how did you do? I already knew. How did you do? And that little boy went down on his hands and knees and he started, thank you, Miss Henry. Thank you, Miss Henry. Thank you, Miss Henry. I saw you, they cut my backside earlier. That's what he said to me. And I will always remember him. Like I said, I don't like to lash children to learn. I want it to come from inside of you.
Yeah.
But there are those children who would really push you to the tilt.
Now, before we wrap up, I mean, the classroom is not just four walls. It could be anywhere, So what I would like to know is, outside of teaching, what else do you enjoy doing? I
love exercising, even though I've been on a hiatus for a couple months.
Well, a couple months and not years is always a good thing.
Okay, that's true. But I'm looking to start back quite soon. I also love working with children outside of school. One of the things that I do every summer is to give back at least 3 weeks of my vacation to assisting children in my church's community at Vacation Bible School. And there again, I enjoy doing that. People ask me, how can you teach? You get these couple of weeks of vacation and still working with children. But I just love children. And if I can help at least one child to help to make a difference in his or her life, my life has been worthwhile.
Well, I want to thank you because, that is what, Positive Profiles is all about. Highlighting the people that are doing positive things, not just within their community, but, to even directly or sometimes indirectly impact the lives of others. Yeah. Now, last, but certainly not least, why do you do what you do?
Short answer, I love children. And I love to see the changes that take place in a child's life from when they come to me and when they leave me. Children come to you with different challenges, sometimes from different walks of life. And just being able to make a difference in a child's life, that's it for me.
They come as gems and they leave as polished diamonds.
I love the way you put that.
That is it. That is my goal
as a teacher, to make a difference, a positive difference in the life of a child. And it's not only academics. It will never only be academics. I want to see children reach their full potential socially, emotionally, in all aspects of their lives. So I want to develop a child who is well-rounded, not only academics. Because my son said to me, Mommy, I'm not so sure about all those academics. He said that to me once. So when it was time for him to choose his career path, I just let him choose.
Well, I'm sure that, he still counts on your guidance.
Sometimes.
And the lessons that you impart on him.
Yeah, I try.
You've never taught me, but I learned something here today. So, maybe, if our paths cross again, or when our paths cross again, you can impart some more lessons.
Or maybe be your children, you never know.
Never know.
Never know.
But thank you so much, Mrs. Henry, for the wonderful work and the positive work that you continue to do to, enhance and influence the lives of the future generations here.
Thank you too.
Enhancing the lives of young, precious gems and turning them into polished diamonds. That is the work of Mrs. Paulette Henry. And this has been another episode of Positive Profiles. I'm your host, Rashid Holder. Thank you.